What's up, TIW Mafia? JP here. Josh is here, but he's sort of in the background hanging out. He's going to help us out with some of the editing and producing today. As I sit down with an old friend of mine, someone I've known for probably the whole 15 years I've been around wrestling, Mr. Kevin Quinn, referee extraordinaire now. What's going on, Kevin? How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. I'm itching to get back in the ring and do some reffing, and I'm itching to talk and just talk wrestling, man. How are you doing?
Good, man. Staying safe, staying healthy. Yourself? Are you everything?
Yeah, the home gym workouts, they could be a little bit better, but I still got it.
Yeah, there is no home gym workout for me, but I did just sign up for Planet Fitness, so once they open, I'll be in there.
There you go.
And
awesome.
Me saying that on air is me making myself accountable.
Yep. Anytime you need help, let me know.
I am going to be hitting you up. That's one of those things I'm blessed with, is like people who are in shape, who are actually like physical trainers that can do that for me. So
yeah, somebody helped me.
What's been going on with the whole COVID stuff? There's been really no wrestling. What have you been doing to stay occupied?
I'll tell you, the one good thing about it is, I'm the head ref for Beyond Wrestling,
yes,
which is pretty cool, man. They have over 2.5 million YouTube subscribers. Pretty cool. And I did those uncharted territories. You still there? Okay.
Yep.
And but being a ref on the show, I don't get to really watch the show. So I got to watch, obviously, the matches I was in, so to speak, and I didn't even get to watch those because I was in them, if you will. So getting to watch back the whole seasons has been really cool, and I'm seeing a lot of stuff being done behind my back that I didn't see, and it's just really cool, man. It's really cool.
You get to, because when I met you, you were a fan.
Absolutely, yes. I
I
was that guy in the front row.
Yeah, with your son every single show, and it was, but you weren't like so I try to do stuff without killing the whole fourth wall.
Sure.
I take that serious, but like some of the wrestlers don't take the fans, I'd say, like serious. If a fan is friendly to them, it's like, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? I'll be friendly to them in here, and then I'm going to leave and not. You actually made legitimate friends with these wrestlers as a fan.
Absolutely.
That separated you from the rest.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to break down that fourth wall either, but I'll just tell you this, that if I was at a show and I was in the front row and things were a little quiet, people started coming over my way. Let's just put it that way.
There was a guy, and he still wrestles on the indie up here, Brandon Locke. He should be way more known than he is. And Brandon,
why he's not signed is beyond me.
Incredible. It's a tragedy. But he was the body guy on most of the shows he was on. He was the most in shape on the show.
Yep.
On the show, he was the most in shape.
Absolutely.
You would be able to have a pose down with him, and I don't think a lot of people know that.
A lot of people probably have no idea about those days.
I showed Josh. I went through your Facebook today, and I found a picture of one of your bodybuilding pictures. I'm like, this is him in the center. And Josh was blown away. Because you wear it so humbly, and like you don't, you're not that guy that's flexing on everybody. You got Pat Dillon saying, "What's up?" You're pretty popular in there today. Rob saying hello on Facebook. Pat Dillon, UFO Wrestling.
Hello to everybody. Pat's been very good to me too, by the way. I've had a lot of good opportunities through him in UFO Wrestling, and he was very good to me when I kind of didn't know what I was doing.
Well, one of my coolest moments was when you won the Turkey Rumble at UFO. Because I was sitting, you would ask me if I'd sit next to your son just to keep an eye on him. Not keep an eye on him, but, make sure everything was good. And I kind of
no, keep an eye on him. I wanted you to keep an eye on him.
And to watch his face, because he had no idea when you won the Turkey Rumble, the Battle Royal.
Yeah. I want to say like maybe 4 or 5 people knew.
Yeah, that was incredible to me. And Matt wasn't one of them.
It was one of the times I got to come out to music.
Yes. Yeah, you don't get that often as a ref. Now,
Nah,
how did you do the switch? Because it's hard. I mean, to be the fan in the front row, to switch to being like one of the top referees in the area.
well, thank you. It kind of all just kind of happened. I've been going to the shows, and I was at the Quincy Armory for years and years, and one thing led to another, and the next thing you know, I ended up in Newburyport at Wrestling Star Wars, and next thing you know, I'm doing security, Kevin Steele's security. Bet you a lot of people don't know that. And I actually threw a couple of drunks out. Like, I used to be a bouncer back in the day. And next thing you know, I'm there, and Joe Moakley and the late Big Woody came over to me and said, "Hey, man, we want you to ref a match." And I'm like, "I've never done that." And like, it's easy. It's a street fight. All you do is you come in and, you count the pin and whatever. And I'm like, I don't have any stuff. I don't know, what do you do? And they threw me a ref shirt. They said, throw it on and let's go. And one of the funniest moments of that match is Big Woody had a trash can, raised it up over his head. He was going to smash Joe Moakley with it. Who do you think stood in front of him and said, "You can't do that"? And he said, "Get the out of my way." And then I said to myself, I've watched wrestling for a long time. I know what's going on in here. And JP, honestly, it all just fell into place.
Yeah, it's cool because I didn't see that obviously, but I saw some of your early matches, and you were always good because you had always watched it.
Right. And one of the problems though that I did have is this could get very interesting actually. When I first started, I literally just started in the ring. I wasn't trained. I didn't have a trainer. I didn't go to a wrestling school or anything like that. And I ended up getting heat with a couple of refs. We'll keep names out of it because this is a trying time in life, so there's no need to cause any heat. But these two refs, they gave me a hard time, man. They got me kicked off a show in Melrose. But anyway, so
you struggle to get into some of the companies you're in. I know that.
What's that?
You struggle to get into some of the companies you're in.
Yeah, I did. I fought like hell, and I'm lucky that I had friends. Well, I had friends that helped me. And friends in wrestling is a loose term, if you will. But I do have some friends in wrestling. I have friends in places, and it's funny. I met Jason Rumble in the gym. Literally, we were both had our headphones on, going for a preaching machine, and that's how I met Rumble. And long story short, I found out he had a wrestling school, and I started going to the wrestling school. And
the original Bell Time Club.
I ended up going. I think I went to the second one. The original one was in Everett, right?
Everett, yeah.
Yeah, I remember those stairs. I almost fell down them a few times.
Me too.
I saw a lot of good matches there. Hey, you know who you want to hear a quick story? You know who used to intimidate the crap out of me in that building? John Walters.
Oh, I'm sure.
He used to, dude, I was scared to look at him. He was jacked up, and he'd just give you that look like, sit down, dude. I used to be, I used to be a little, a little vocal, if you remember.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing now is I can shoot a message and say what's up and get a response back pretty quickly.
It's cool, isn't it?
It is, man. It is. And then, after training, one thing led to another. And then next thing you know, I ended up at Brian Fury's school, and I've been there ever since. And Fury's a great guy, man. And he doesn't give me any special treatment. His famous line is, "Get to the shoulders, you old man." And his nickname for me is Grandpa Joe.
I enjoyed watching wrestling alone until I watched wrestling with Brian Fury watching his students.
Yep.
I don't think there's anything more entertaining because he'll sit there and scream at them at the shows from the sitting in the back.
Yeah. He still does that while the match is going on.
Yeah, so passionate about his kids.
He's a very proud papa, and I'll tell you what, he's very good at what he does. He's been down to the PC a couple times as a guest trainer, and that's a great opportunity. But to be selfish, I'm afraid he's going to get down there one time. He ain't going to come back.
Ooh, we're going to get right into something because someone on Facebook just brought up a name. Temba Patrick, who's actually Josh's girlfriend, so it was probably Fed, just brought up David Starr. I'm assuming talking about American Rana. There was a little chair shot. Can we talk about that?
Sure. We can talk.
That's correct. That was a feed. I thought I was on my Facebook, but I was on Timber. Yeah. So my bad.
I tell you what. No, that's fine, man. That's fine. David Starr. David Starr is probably one of the best wrestlers on the independents. I learned a valuable lesson in that match. I'm a referee. I'm not a wrestler. Let me repeat that. I'm a referee. I am not a wrestler. I got a little ballsy and I stepped over the line, and guess what? He put me in check, but safely.
That's the important part.
But now let's talk about a little fun time. Does anybody ever remember American Rana with him and Joey Janela?
Yes.
Do you remember when the ref got knocked out and I came through the crowd? We're live on Facebook, right?
Yes.
All right, I'll keep it clean. 1, 2, and they flipped him the bird. I got to give him the Shane O'Mac spot. That was awesome.
I'm going on record right now, and you can probably check the date and the time because I was watching that and I tweeted something about it at that point in time.
Awesome. Yeah, it was cool, man.
I was like, I am an American Rana fan. I'd pay WrestleMania money to go to American Rana every time. Like the LAX 3-on-3 match with the females in American Rana 18, I believe, that opened up American Rana is probably my favorite match ever when it comes to Beyond Wrestling. I just like,
and you know what was my favorite part of that match was the ending. If you remember correctly, we all held our hands up high. Yep. That was what you call. That was now you get me fired up now.
Yeah,
that's what you call a moment. That was a moment.
So you shared that too, right? It wasn't just me marking out as a huge fan. Like it was stiff from the minute like the fans started banging on the mat. It was automatically stiff. It was immediate. It was like I was like, holy shit.
That was wrestlers wrestling each other. That's what that was. I'll tell you, those matches at Beyond Wrestling they're just, and the crowd being right there, like, they're just insane. They're awesome. They fire me up, man.
Is that like, if you could, and I'm going to get out of here when I ask this because I need to get back to producing this. If you can rank, like, I know it's hard because when you talk about Beyond Wrestling, like, I'm serious. Like, if you can take ECW, TNA in the golden days, we're talking pre-Florida, and mix those two together and then throw that into the 2020 generation, it's unreal. These kids that are doing the things that they're doing, the talent that they have, you guys, as far as being able to work with these kids the way that you guys do, and I think that's what separates is your guys' experience as referees in there with these youngsters that are coming up. I say youngsters, but they're veterans, like AG 10 years, Briggs, Star, like Silver, like Statlander, even though she's young, like I put her in there because she doesn't even know what she's doing. It's just cool, and it's really cool, and I'm so glad that Drew in IWTV decided to do the Uncharted, like the Beyond, and then piggyback Defy on that because that's where I'm at. And JP and I have been preaching this since we started doing this. Is if you can it's gonna be territories. I'm hoping again. Like I'm hoping at some point in time,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
just tell Beyond to come this way more.
Let me tell you, man. Oh, you're out in Montana. You're out in Flip Gordon territory, right?
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
from
Yeah.
literally the same town, I believe.
Close.
Callis.
Close.
How do you say it? Callis what?
Kalispell.
Kalispell. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Flip Gordon's a friend of mine, and I'm happy for all his success. I can text him, but I'll probably hear from him in a day or two. But he responds back. He's a great kid, man. He's got a big future ahead of him.
Yeah.
The honor he gave us is before he signed
Yeah.
that first Ring of Honor contract.
Yep.
Since I was a Montana boy, he broke that on. Even
Yeah.
before, it would have been cool if he would have had this when that happened. But
Right.
unfortunately,
The show came out after he was signed, after he was exclusive.
He's a great dude, man. And I tell you what, the dude has picked it up so quick, and he's so talented. He's really, really talented.
It's because he was a cheerleader.
And he can do things.
He was a cheerleader. That's why acrobatics and
he can
constantly
do
being able to do that. That's what it is, man. And I'm not afraid to say that because you can throw Sadie Gibbs and Chris Statlander in there too.
Let me tell you something, Chris Statlander. There's somebody that's got money written all over him, man. That girl is good. Yes. And I just want to say this, and I mean this sincerely. Chris Statlander has a huge career. She's on TV every week.
Yep.
I've ref her tons of times at Beyond. She has not changed one iota. She's the same exact person as the first day that I met her.
That's
so
awesome.
is John Silver too.
And so, I mean, Silver, he's in such a good spot there now. Him and Alex
Silver's
Reynolds.
Freaking jacked.
Oh, fucking Silver's arms are huge.
Yes.
But
he's great. And Beyond Wrestling is great. One of my favorite parts about Beyond Wrestling is, honestly, I would have probably never met guys like, say, John Silver. I've ref for guys from Australia, from England, from Europe. I would have never met those guys. Don't get me wrong. I work for great companies, Northeast Wrestling, Chaotic Wrestling, Limitless Wrestling. I work for great companies, but the difference is Beyond brings them from all over the world, pretty much,
Yeah.
And if you look at the current TV product right now, you can pick a handful of them from either station that came from Beyond Wrestling.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. It was, I think, the Beyond Wrestling tweeted it one day. It was like on one screen, I think it was on SmackDown, you had Alex Reynolds and John Silver, and then on the other side you had like Chris Stratt and someone else at the same time.
Yep. I get excited, JP, and I just start rambling. So if you have to shut me up, feel free.
I want to get to one of the fan questions.
Yes, me too.
And one in particular, and this is what happens when probably the three oldest guys on the show have a match. But Brickhouse wants to know what you were thinking when you sorry, I'm trying to pull the picture up here.
Yep.
I
know the exact picture you're pulling up.
No, it's not going to work. But it was their last match, and I don't think either one of them have had a match since. Jose Perez and Brickhouse Baker.
Yep.
I'm not able to put it up, but I will post it on Twitter later.
Okay. Is it the one where Brickhouse has Jose over the balcony with the chain, and Jose is hanging over the balcony? I'm literally okay. So the question was, what was I thinking?
What were you thinking when you followed them up the balcony stairs?
I'm trying to yell at him. I'm like, where are you going? Like, get back here. Like, and this was I think it was pretty much like a street fight or something. There was no rules, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm just falling. Now we're at the PAL in Fall River. Now we're running up the stairs, and I'm like, what is going on here? They're fighting, they're punching. Now, let me tell you something. There's two guys that are hitting each other.
Yep.
They're hitting each other, man. I think in wrestling we call it stiff.
Yeah.
There's some real good shots there. Anyway, they're up there. Next thing you know, the chain, he's hanging them over the back. I'm like, what are you doing? You're going to kill him. Like, dude, I'm pretty new at this point. I don't know how far I was in. I was like, you got to be shit. Next thing you know, he's gone. And I'm like, what the?
The Pal in Fall River in Massachusetts, for people that don't know, it's honestly my favorite venue to watch wrestling in, partly because of that balcony.
When that
And
place is packed.
yeah, and that balcony, that's a second story. That's a second story window.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
have you ever talked to Brickhouse about that match after that match?
Oh, hold on a second. It gets better. Oh, it gets better.
Okay.
Oh, it gets better. So now Jose's he hit a table or something on the way down. Now he's down. He ain't moving. Brickhouse looks at me and I'm like, come on, let's go. Bring it down. He looks at me again. And I'm like, don't you even think about it. Dude, he jumped over the balcony. He went like this. Oh, well, next thing you know, he was gone. Jumped over the. I'm trying to keep my language clean, but
yeah, you can.
He jumped over the freaking balcony, man. I'm running. I'm an old man. I'm running down those stairs as fast as I can. I'm bouncing off the walls, and I go down and check on him. And guess what he says?
What's that?
I give him the old Iggy as we do in wrestling. I go, "You good?" He goes, "Yeah." How about you?
Well, Brickhouse, like I've talked to him about that match. He was like 3 or 4 days later. He was going in for back surgery.
I'm not sure if I recall that, but if I can just touch on one more thing.
He didn't tell anyone that because he knew Jose wouldn't have gave him that match.
I did. You know what, JP? I think I'm hearing that for the first time.
That's,
to be quite honest with you. But there's just one more point that I want to say.
Yeah.
Is they finally did get back in the ring. I wasn't the in-ring ref. The in-ring ref was Barbara Mahoney. I was fortunate enough because I think she goes way back with those guys. I mean, way back. Okay. Yeah, so that's okay. I was lucky even to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we got back in the ring, and there was barbed wire on a board. And I don't remember the exact spot, but I remember that Jose ate that barbed wire a little bit more than he wanted to, if you catch my drift. And when I tell you it was a bloodbath, bath. Like I looked at him, he looked at me, and he goes, "Oh, yeah."
I think,
dude, you're getting me fired up.
I love it. We had a couple of people in the little chat room. We had two. Evan Hatch just said potatoes, talking about Brickhouse and Jose.
Yeah,
but they were both known for that anyway.
Well, I mean, they were there to win the fight.
Right.
Yep.
Absolutely. And we also Joey Kilmont. And by the way, because we're mentioning Brickhouse, I gotta say, I'm slapping my leg here.
Slaps leg. Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah, Joey Kilmont gets no credit for this. No.
That's good.
Actually, that's actually not true. Actually, he was very influential when I started.
Yeah, he
was like Rumble's kid, like, so to speak. So he was very helpful to me as far as like keeping my head on kind of, well, he's a good dude, man. I love him like a brother, you know.
Now, if that one got you fired up, I think this one might. This one's less wrestling related. It's a little more personal, if that's all right.
JP?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, Josh.
This is where we typically take a break.
Yeah.
But as we roll through this, I'd like to mention that this will be available at Wrestling News Source or WrestlingNewsSource.com, that has over 500,000 followers on Facebook, as well as close to 100,000 followers on Twitter. So do us a favor, follow us at Ref Quinn, out there on the bottom. This is Mr. Ref Quinn. If you guys don't know him, you should subscribe to IWTV or Beyond or Chikara or whatever you choose at your point in time, and you'll see Ref Quinn most of the time. Us at Three Irish Boys, and of course, our boy Ben over at Wrestling News Source, where we don't break news. We aren't a dirt sheet. We wait to verify it, and then we publish it and hope you enjoy it. So that's the cheap pop. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Awesome.
Now, this one came from Anthony Battle. I'm not going to try to pronounce the rest of the name, but I think you'd know who Anthony Battle is. So
I do.
And he said, if you're comfortable talking about it, he'd love to hear your insight as to how you personally, mentally, and internally handle recovery as you continue to flourish in an environment where it's not really catered for that to flourish, if you will.
Sure. First and foremost, Anthony's a great dude. He's one of those guys in wrestling that when I go to a show down at the Bethany Town Hall, it's not a handshake, it's right to the hug. And he's a great guy, and he's just a great guy. How I do it, I'll tell you what. A lot of times I don't go out after shows. Anybody who knows me, Kevin Quinn, not Ref Quinn, knows that I'm a recovering alcoholic. I haven't drank in almost over 30 years. And I don't go out. Thank you. And I did it, and I'm just going to throw this in and pat my own self on the back. I did it all by myself. I did it the way they say you can't do it. But after shows and stuff, I'm very I got to be careful here. I'm very particular who I'll go out with after shows and stuff, because I don't drink. I don't care if I'm around it. I honestly don't. You can go out and drink all you want. That's fine. Just know you have a designated driver, because I'm definitely not going to let you drive. But it's always when there's a little squabble or something. It's always a sober guy that's involved,
Yes.
I mean, I don't really have any of those stories because I've never had a problem in wrestling with it. But how I do it is I surround myself with, people that are good people. And I have a couple good travel partners. Actually, not really. All my travel partners got signed. They did. Dijak was my last travel partner.
Yes.
But anyway,
and he just got called up.
Yes, from what I heard, yeah. I have everything taping, so I can do this. And honestly, like, I get a lot of inner support. I have a lot of people that I can reach out to and talk to. I reached out to a guy yesterday that's been in the business 21 years, and I asked him a few questions, and I just surround myself with positive people, and it's a day-by-day thing, man, and it's a great question. Nobody's ever asked me that, actually.
Yeah, and I wanted to make sure I got to it, but I wanted to make sure you were comfortable with it too,
I hope I answered it.
Yeah, you absolutely did.
Okay, all right.
Now, I got a question along your recovery. You also did bodybuilding back in the day. Did that sort of coincide with the recovery? Like, did one replace the other?
Oh, you kidding me? The gym is what helped me through recovery, JP. I was in the gym every Friday night.
Okay.
There was no saying with me and the guy that used to run the gym that I used to go to. We used to call it the Friday Night Losers Club. There was like three of us in there. He just, joking around or whatever. Dude, I was there so much on the weekends, right, that I used to just, after my workout, I just start cleaning up the gym. Just start putting all the weights away or whatever, go check the bathroom. And the owner came up to me and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I had a drinking problem. I'm trying to get rid of it. So I'm going to just stay here till you close every night." And eventually I got a really good deal on a membership. But the gym is what really, really, really helped me. That's where I put all my focus. When I started in the gym, I was about 145, 150 pounds. I was a skinny little scrawny kid, which is another question. I think at the end of this, there's another question that refers back to that. But the gym had a lot to do with my recovery and still has a lot to do with it to this day. I'm trying to do my home workouts, but it's just not the same. All kidding aside, go to Josh Briggs's. Where do I get that from? Shoot, from his Facebook or his Instagram?
I think he put it on his. I think at one point he was putting it on his Twitter.
Was it Twitter? But anyway, go. And you guys all know who Josh Briggs is. Go to one of his social platforms, and he has all of his workouts on YouTube. They're awesome, and they're all band workouts or no weight workouts. Right. They're awesome.
And you're talking about a guy who was a D1 football player.
Yeah, the guy who kicked my ass a couple of times recently, by the way.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Now, someone I know is an old friend of yours, and also actually, you and Joey used to go to the shows a lot too, didn't you? Wouldn't it be? Do I remember it being you, Dave, and Joey Kilmartin going to like the Chaotic shows together, or am I remembering incorrectly?
I know, JP. I don't know. I don't remember. Okay. I know it was me and Ratty, because me and Dave went everywhere.
Yes, yeah, you guys will. He wants to know if you joined the wrestling business in the '80s. would you have considered being an in-ring performer rather than a competitor rather than the referee? And then, of course,
Absolutely.
I had to throw in that, in the 80s, you were still 45, so it might have been a little late.
I was born in 65. 65. But yeah, I probably would have. When I first got into this, I'm not known for my bumping ability, but I did take a couple of bumps at the Bell Time Club, and I got up, and I'm like, okay, we'll go the ref route. And the ref route, you still should do all the wrestling stuff, and I did all that stuff, but bumping's it's not my forte, whatever. And I don't know if it's because I'm an older guy and my body's trained not to fall. I don't know. But then you get guys like Chase Del Monte that will, you'll sell with their clothesline.
Yes.
But he's a great guy. I've been in the ring with him 100 times. I've been in some real humdingers with him as well. But
Chase, I don't know. I know who Chase is. I know him to say hi to him. I'm always entertained by him.
I'll tell you what, I listen. You know what I do at night, right? Ready for this one? I listen to his promos to fall asleep.
Really? Are you saying they're boring, huh?
Yeah, it's a joke. I'll tell you what, there's not many guys in the business that can go one-on-one on the mic with him.
No.
But hey, I just switch channels just for a second?
Yeah.
I just want to send a shout out to Mike Lombardi from Northeast Wrestling down in Bethany, Connecticut. This company's been very good to me. The only reason I'm doing that is I don't want to forget JP. He's been very good to me. Hopefully we can get a couple minutes now where I can go over all this, but I just want to throw this in there now. He's been very good to me. Some things that are going to come up on this podcast have a lot to do with NEW. Like my biggest matches I've ever reffed have a lot to do with NEW. And I just want to personally thank him, everybody from NEW, the staff, the production. They have the best production crew. I'll tell you what, they have one of the best production crews. John Roy does a great job. They have great camera crew. They have great everything. And I just wanted to make sure I said thank you. You know what? My buddy Kurt Adonis, the ring announcer.
Yes. Curdy.
He's got the pearliest white teeth I've ever seen.
They are super. They are. Now, I think this gets into NEW a little. After a match, what's the best piece of feedback you've ever got?
The best piece of feedback I've ever gotten. I didn't even see you in there.
That's okay.
I didn't even see you in there.
Who did that come from?
There's been a few. Okay. I can't think of a name off the top of my head. I mean, I know when I ref for Kenny Omega, he had given me some really good feedback because he's used to a 20 count over in Japan. And before we went out, he goes, "Is this 10 or 20?" And I go, 10. He goes, "Oh, please don't count me out." And if anybody was at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center, it was a very close call.
What I will say is that when I was looking for pictures of you to tweet out today, it was very hard to find pictures of you in the ring. And I think that speaks volumes on that you're not seen in there.
Thank you.
You're that like that piece of parsley on the side of the plate to make it a little bit better.
Yeah.
But
thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, I got to throw one more thing in there that when we were at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center, JT Dunn was scheduled to wrestle. I don't remember if it was Penta or Phoenix, and they didn't make it or something. So we're in the ring, and then all of a sudden, Matt Taven's music hits. Now, Matt Taven is the Ring of Honor world champ at the time.
Okay.
JT looks at me, I look at him, and I look at Kurt, and we're all like, what is going on right now? So next thing you know, dude, I have never reffed, and I've only reffed one Ring of Honor match in my life. And guess what? It was a world title match. So, and I'm just going to put a cheap plug in for myself. If that doesn't tell you I can't ref there, that I can ref there, come on, Ring of Honor, let's go. Let's do some talking.
You can, by all means, you can hang there.
I can, but then We'll touch on that later.
Here's the problem with being a ref, though, is if there's, and I'll go high, if there's 250 full-time pro wrestling spots in the 3 contract companies, there's 8 ref spots, 9 ref spots.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so to be seen as a ref is a little more difficult. You actually, didn't you do one of Kurt Angle's like last independent shows?
I did his last independent match. Yeah.
And how was that?
It was awesome, man. It was him and Cody Rhodes. That was out in Duchess Stadium in New York, I believe, for Northeast Wrestling. Dude, it was not only an awesome match, but the best thing that happened in that match was obviously I got to ref it. I've refed a ton of matches for Cody Rhodes, by the way. And the best part of it, we're walking down back. It's a long walk to the back. It's literally him walking, sweating, dripping sweat. I'm behind him, and I'm like, dude, like Kurt Angle's in front of me. Like, this is really cool. And I go, I just wanted to say thank you for the match. He turned around, shook my hand. He goes, no, thank you for the match.
That's
yes. He. I'll tell you what, man. He is a class act.
That is cool. That's special.
Very special.
You said you worked. You did a bunch of Cody Rhodes matches. Didn't you actually go down for All or Nothing on one of those? And
I did. I did. Actually, I worked. Yeah, I worked the StarCast event for Northeast, actually for Mike Lombardi.
Oh, okay.
He was representing out there. It was me and a couple other NEW guys. That was awesome, man.
Mike Lombardi is everywhere. I met that guy one time. It was in Houston. You know, we're both a state away from each other.
He's a great guy, man. He's you know what the best part of that was, right? I love the JP. Just curious, how long does this go?
Yeah, we typically go an hour. We're at 30. We're at 40 minutes now.
Okay.
But if you want more, we can get more out.
No, we'll 20 minutes should be good. But I just wanted to make sure so I didn't mess you all up. StarCast was great because it was just, first of all, that was the first time that I got flown anywhere. And I got flown, I got taken care of, I got put up in a nice hotel, I got everything paid for. Like I felt like, man, I made it that weekend. You know what I'm saying?
That is.
And then,
cool.
And I had my option of who I got to work with. I was very lucky for that. Dude, I got to work with the Four Horsemen on the Saturday night on the TBS set was behind them. I mean, that was awesome.
Really?
I got to work with Scott Hall, man. And he made me get up on a ladder, and I'm petrified of heights. And I climbed up to the second ladder. He goes, one more. And I go, he goes, come on, you pussy. Come on, one more. And it was cool. And he goes, a little different when you're up there, huh? You know, he's another guy that's just a cool dude.
I haven't met him. I've met Nash. I've never met Scott. So
I met Nash doing push-ups, warming up for an event. And he put his foot on my back and he goes, "What are you doing?"
Is that right?
That's the truth. That was that. That's when I took Holyoke Joe's spot down at another company that I used to work for. And I'm doing warm-ups in the back room. And next thing you know, a foot goes on my back, and I look up. And there's just these feet and these legs, and I look up, and it's Kevin Nash, and he goes, "Good job, Stripes."
That's you. Oh, I gotta laugh every time I hear Holyoke Joe's name.
Oh yeah, Holyoke Joe says, "Do you know who I am?" I said, "Yeah, you're the guy with the Hulk Hogan tattoo on your back."
His entire back is Hulk Hogan's face. And now he's in there. Oh, he keeps getting into trouble, but that's beside the point. Josh wants to know, what about this kid? He puts up a picture of AG with the Ava Taker.
He's Ava Taker or AG?
I think he said he means Ava Taker. So
I'll tell you what, she's come a long way in a very short period of time. And don't be surprised. Don't be surprised down the road if you see her on a bigger stage.
Yeah, I wouldn't. She's got a lot going for her. There's a lot of upside.
she hasn't been wrestling very long, but she. Oh my! I got to tell you a quick story. We were in a match at Chaotic, and I had to take a bump, and whatever, the spot came, and she turned around and said, "I'm sorry," fucking clocked.
Oh, and I mean,
but that's okay. That's okay. I'm a big boy. I can take it. I mean, shit, I've been knocked out by JT Dunn 200 times.
Right? Yeah,
we'll get into that. We don't have enough time to get into that.
But you and him were partnered up for you talk about riding buddies, and I think you did a couple of road trips with JT, right?
Oh, geez, my first few years was with him. He helped me out a lot. He helped me get a lot of my bookings. I think he probably, now that I've been in the business for a while, I think he probably said, well, this guy's driving me to the show and it's a long ways away. Can we throw him on? And I think that's like how it got started. Like, I think people were like, yeah, we'll give him a shot. And then I got a shot and they're like, oh, wow, this guy can actually ref. JT, I tell you what, as much as he's knocked me out, man, he helped me a lot at the beginning. And I'll tell you, and another thing too, again, I don't want to peel back that fourth wall, as we say, but if I'm in a locker room and I got a question, I can go to a lot of people, but there's usually one or two guys I go to. And usually it's either JT or it's Briggs. And we'll just leave it at that.
Now you've been in some predicaments, and I usually hear about them after because I get, why weren't you there?
Yeah.
From you.
Yeah.
NWW Extreme a couple of years ago, there was like a near riot in there, right?
Oof. Yeah.
How scary was that?
That was the scariest probably time in my wrestling business, man. And I want to say that it was Mike McCarthy and the Widowmaker. And I want to say McCarthy took somebody's cowboy hat, and then all hell broke loose. And then we found out a lot of them were Widowmaker's family or friends or whatever. Well, anyway, dude, it got so bad, right? And the Giant Pharaoh, I don't know if anybody knows who he is. JP, what's he, 6'10"?
Yeah, I'm 6'8". He's got a couple inches on me easily.
This is a shoot. I went in the locker room and I grabbed him by the hand, and he was in a conversation. I literally grabbed him by the hand and I said, we need you, man. There's an effing riot going on. We need you. And I dragged him right out and I brought him right to the main instigator. And I go, this guy's causing it. And the riot ended. Let's put it that way. And I don't know if I've ever said thank you to him for that. I think I did, but dude, he saved it. That shit. And let me tell you something too. I don't know if anybody knows who Widowmaker is. Oh. They say Vince McMahon's got big coconuts. That's a guy that's got big coconuts.
And so talented.
He don't.
When I started coming around, he was stopping doing shows, and
he basically was stopping as I was getting going. So, but I did get in there a few times with him. He was one of those guys when I counted to 4 and he looked at me. I backed up a couple steps.
Somebody else asked in the chat room, is there anything that you see new refs do that drives you nuts?
Yeah. They I don't want to call out any names, but they got happy feet and they just get in the way and they forget that they're a referee and they're a fan. Has it ever happened to me? Sure, I'm not gonna lie. But I catch myself and I'm a referee. It's to new refs, the biggest piece of advice I can give them, make sure you train at a reputable school. I train at one of the most reputable schools in the industry, New England Pro Wrestling Academy, run by Brian Fury. The lineage there just goes on and on for days and days. It's a great place. Make sure you surround yourself with great people. And I'll throw this out there right now to any new ref out there. DM me, find me on Facebook, Instagram, all those platforms. I'll help you any possible way that I can because I'm 54 years old. I don't know how much time I have left. So somebody's got to take these spots.
I'm looking forward to the conversation we have when you're all done.
Oh.
That's
Because
after that conversation, I will be all done.
I know things. You know what I mean? Like me and you.
Hey, just
when
for the
I
record,
see you, we have conversations. What's up, Josh?
just for the record, I think we have a website secured that's called shootinterviews.com.
Yes.
I think it's shootinterviews.com. So at some point in time, I'm sure that will
Yeah.
be there.
We'll have to
I would
do
love
a real.
to, man. And again, it wouldn't be as bad as you think it would be, but
No.
it would be. It'll be some good stories, you know. It'll be some good stories.
I'm gonna
Done.
share. I'm gonna share a story with you because you know when you talked about Dunn and Briggs, right? So I'm a huge Briggs fan. Like I'm a Mark. Like I'm just Mark all
I can't
day
point the right way.
long.
My
Like,
camera's backwards.
Are you
So
trying
look
to
at the
point
hat.
at my hat, right?
Yes.
That's his hat right there. This is.
Oh yeah.
And the story there's two stories behind it, right? I ordered a hat, like they said it delivered, it didn't get delivered. You know, Briggs said, "I'll send you another hat. Send me a hat right away." You know, these things aren't cheap. Like this is an investment on the kids. You know, it's on their part, so it's cool. But I mean, when he dislocated his hip, and there was a time like he was struggling. I mean, that was a struggle, and I sent him a picture on Messenger just randomly, right? Just randomly because, you know, him and anyway, it sets at the base of Chief Joseph's cottonwood tree right outside of his house. So basically the way that Native Americans equate that is that Chief Joseph is like George Washington. So,
Okay.
I mean, he's got a looking pond that's probably about, you know, 300-400 feet away. Presidents have visited there. It's still in pristine condition, right? So, and I took a picture of this hat, and I don't know, you have to ask him if he has it or not, or if he even remembers this conversation, but I was
he
probably,
does.
Oh, he does? Okay.
Oh,
So,
I'm sure he does.
yeah, it's, you know, he sent me back. He's like, I said, it's perspective, man. It's just perspective. Think about it. It's like, this is just a short thing. If you can handle this one little piece of adversity, and it is in the span of life, like you got to be able to handle this, because out on the road, like sometimes it's just you. Sometimes it's just you, and all you got is you. And it's just so cool to know that this younger generation that's coming up, and as social media inclined as they are so connected with their fans. And I think that's the reason why Beyond is why you're the head referee there. There's a reason why they have as many YouTube subscribers as they do. There's a reason why they're doing as well as they do. There's a reason Quack is doing. I mean, all of it up in that area. But Beyond Wrestling is it's my. I can't express enough like what it's. The other part of this is like I get to consume maybe one live wrestling show every 2 years. Like,
oh wow.
And it's always WWE.
Yeah. So it's, for me, everything that I've consumed is this way. It's you and me. It's the screen. It's never, I mean, I've probably been to 7 live shows. I'm 45 in my entire life. So this COVID thing is the best thing that could have happened for somebody like me, because now everybody's having to do what I've had to do, motherfuckers. So get over it. Be blessed that this is what we have. So I'm going to get off my soapbox. But I wanted to tell you that Briggs story, and he's a class act. He's everything I want my son to be when he gets to be that age. Just put it that way.
I'll tell you what. Do you know how old Briggs is?
I don't know.
I hope I'm not wrong on this. I think he's 26. Maybe 25, but he's young. And let me tell you, he picked it up like Dijak did. Like, he just picked it up. Yeah. This kid is incredible, man. And he is the most positive guy, man. Like, he's picked me up many a times when I've been all, bummed out about something or whatever. And yeah, man, a class act. And you know what? I'm going to go on record. He's one of my favorite people to ref for now, other than when he's kicking my ass. Yeah, he's a big. I don't know if you saw that at Chaotic in Hudson. We had a little to do where,
Well, he's always angry, and chances are he doesn't like you. So
he hates everyone.
Yeah, and I'll leave you. We'll move on after this. But you think he's big in person? Try being in the ring with him. The dude's a monster.
No. And we're talking. These are smaller rings too. I mean, we're not talking. This isn't a WWE.
I'm a little up over his waistband.
And you're talking a D1 football player again. It's
Yeah.
Now,
Okay, that's all. I just thank you, Graf. Thanks, appreciate it, Kevin.
Thank you, man.
someone I'm guessing is old friend of yours, also asked, what was it? What did it take to go from being the pencil-necked, scrawny geek John Reardon met all those years ago to turn into a fine physical specimen?
Recovering alcoholic and join the gym.
We sort of touched on it, so
that's the answer, man. That's the answer. And I've known John a long time, so he can get away with saying that.
Some of them we already touched on, like the best match you ref. I'm guessing Cody Kurt.
Cody Rhodes and Kurt Angle in the steel cage, and I'll tell you what, it's like, and then I got to ref Kenny Omega and Ray Phoenix at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center. Kenny Omega, man, that guy is a star from like Japan, and I want to say this is one of his first matches over here in a while, if I remember. And I remember being down in the locker room area when they're calling the match, and I'm trying to. He's a class act, man. But yeah,
that's cool. It's always good to hear that, because I mean, he was a star at that point, by all means.
I got trained by Bo Douglas. Was basically my day-to-day training when I started, and Bo knows, and he's my brother, man. He's my brother. I love him. One thing he taught me when I started is don't go out of your way to take pictures and make us all that stuff, which is great. But then I looked at it like, what? I respect Bo, and he's taught me very, very well. But I'm 54 years old. I'm like, how long am I going to do this? How many more times am I going to get to meet Billy Gunn? How many more times am I going to get to meet Booker T? How many? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I take pictures now. So I was nervous, and I went up to Ray Phoenix, and I'm like, because I'm very friendly with them. They know me very well. I go, dude, can you help me get a picture with Kenny? He goes, go ask him. I'm like, okay. So I walk over. How you doing, sir? I go, I was wondering if I could get I don't want to bother you, but if I could get a photo with you. He goes, dude, I do this all day. Come on, let's go. So we take a picture, and then he says, get another one. And dude, he's just so cool. Like, he really is, man.
Julian Starr, from Truth, Justice, and the New England Pro Wrestling Way. Also from Chaotic Wrestling, and I think one of the trainers at Nepwa, right?
Yes, he is. And I'll tell you what, he loves his students. He gives it his all.
He's picking on you right now.
That's okay. That's because he likes me.
He's asking. He's telling you to basically pick up the name. Pick up the name you dropped.
Hey, there's nothing wrong when you've actually been in there with him. The difference between me and other people dropping a name is I can actually put that name on an email and send it to him and get a response back.
Yes, this is true.
So, Julian, anytime you want to come out of retirement, let me know, will you? JP, I can't read that. What does that say?
You hear the names I've hung with, brother?
Oh, come on, brother. You know what? He's right. He's right. Actually, Julian, did I ref that match with you and Fury against the Young Bucks? I can't, JP. I can't see that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's just saying, "Let me take a picture, brother."
Shit.
That's all right. You'll be the name.
Nah, Julian's a good guy, man. And you know what?
Hell of a
I'll tell you what. I'll bullshit aside. I'll put Julian in the ring right now against anybody.
Yes.
Right now.
You can't
tonight.
You can't, because the comment down there says that he hasn't seen his dick since 2018. I'm not coming out.
Oh. Well,
but
let me rephrase that.
Here's the thing: is Julian could probably shoot fight with anyone in the ring too, because.
Let me tell you, Julian Starr, however his weight is now, whatever, he can do a moonsault, he can do a kip up, he can do all that stuff. Excuse me.
He did a little comeback match with Chaotic at the Countdown or something, didn't he? Where he did do a moonsault, I believe.
Well, he sure did. He GMSI'd it that night.
That's now.
What does that say?
If he has to call 911 if he walks upstairs. But those guys, I love. I don't listen to podcasts. I
Yep.
listened to when Crockett and Malonis were doing it. I listened to that, and I do listen to Truth, Justice, and the New England Pro Wrestling Way every other week.
I've never been invited on that one, or I would have done it.
So you got an open invite here.
I'm only kidding, man. Malonis is a great guy. I've learned a lot from him, man. I traveled with him a lot, and he's taught me a lot.
Yeah, I remember when Julian was doing he had a good run with NECW, and of course I was a fan of Chaotic back then, so
Oh yeah, definitely.
Kevin,
Yeah, I just want to send a quick shout out, man. I get to work with some really cool refs. I work with Steve Deming all the time at Beyond Wrestling. He's actually in Ring of Honor now. Good for him. I love him. He's a great guy. I get to work with. I'm saving one of my best friends for. We'll put this all together, but I work with Vinny Lax down in NEW. Great guy, good brother of mine. Eric Stefanowitz. He's a great guy.
None of them were on ridiculous list last night, though. You were.
And I work with my buddy Christy Antonio from New York, great guy. And then there's another guy at NEW, right? And this guy's a prick. His name is Quinn with one N. That's an inside joke between me and the other refs. One time Lombardi was doing the card, and the Quinn with one N had all the good matches, and so they. What's Julian saying there?
Why is there only 2 people in this first episode? Julian, this is not the first episode. I've been doing it since 2005, but I knew it was going to be a back and forth with me and Kevin. So
the reason there's only 2 viewers here because people forget that we're dumb on the Irish Whip podcast. And TIW doesn't stand for the Irish Whip. It's Technical Issues Weekly.
Yeah.
And we've only recently figured out that video is the way to go.
Yes.
And we can do it any point in time, and it takes it takes a while, man. But the cool thing is our podcast is one on a really cool place, and I appreciate the fact that he brings it up because it's the fact that, I mean, there's so many things we're able to do this, and that Ref Quinn's part of like the first couple of these that we do.
Yes.
It's like
a second one.
Dude, it's just like one. It's. To me, it's
that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it's when things it just happens. It's like when all of a sudden I see JP tweets out. I'm like, Ref Quinn. I'm like, holy fuck, did I forget something? Like seriously, did I? I'm like,
no.
Did I lose it? I lost it.
Together?
Like, what happened?
Because me and Kevin so for the record, our audio downloads are roughly 10,000 times better than who's watching us live right now. So
10,000 times better than who's watching. That's 6 at this point.
That's not so much of an exaggeration.
I had to go and get Kimberly at Razors and Rebels. I had to actually get this done.
You're our second video interview. Our first one was last week. We had Green Ant.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. We had to. We're marks for the colony, so we had to have an ant as our first.
He's a great guy.
Such a good dude. I'll tell you.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you afterwards the trust we got. It meant something to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, he it's cool because we've interviewed him before on video, and we always did it through Skype so we could see him. And we'd be like, dude, we're not putting out this video at all. This is just going to be audio. Mm-hmm. He did the owl with the mask on.
No way.
Yeah. For an audio interview, he said, "No." He's like, even if the video wasn't on, I'd still have it on. It just gets me there.
Yep,
Whatever.
He's a great guy, man. I know him.
Kevin, put over your Facebook, your Twitters, social medias. I know there's no shows coming up, but like IWTV, if you have a promo code, anything like that.
Yeah, my promo code for IWTV is I forget what it is, so I will post it after this. My Twitter is Ref Quinn. My Instagram is Ref Quinn. My Facebook is Kevin Quinn. And it's just a picture of me with my big white beard on there. Yeah, that's, you can see me on there, all my platforms. I'm trying to figure out why I can't get to the next level, and I'm not trying to have a pity party here. I'm trying to be honest for a second. If we could just take a second
Yeah.
and be serious.
Absolutely.
I really feel that I'm qualified to go to the next level. I've been told in certain companies I'm not there because of my bumping ability, but that's okay. Anybody that's ever worked with me, you can be creative and get bumps done the right way. So I'm throwing this out there, but there's one company I'm going to pick out. Impact Wrestling. I watched your show last night. I've ref for your roster. Most of them.
Mm-hmm.
I can be in there with Brian Cage all day long. I've been in some humdinger. I was in a match with him up in I think it was way up in Vermont or something. And we're going out to the ring, and we're in the ring, and he goes, "You have any more matches?" And I go, "I got one." I'm like, "Ah, shit, I wanted to powerbomb the shit out of you at the end." I'm like, "Whoa, glad I got another match." But anyway, I love this business. I love pro wrestling. I love being a professional wrestling referee. And let me make one thing perfectly clear. It'll go. You want to give me you want to give me a weekly salary that'll pay my bills? I'll shave this right in front of you as we speak, razor or not. I'll do it. I have a lot of friends in Ring of Honor. I have a lot of friends in AEW. I feel like I'm qualified. AEW is stacked with refs, so I doubt there's any openings there. But any of you guys, Impact Wrestling, come on, NXT, give the old man a shot. But anyway, I can hang with any of you. I can hang with any of you. As far as reffing, I can hang.
You can work out with any of them, not just the refs.
I'll tell you a quick story. I know we're really probably way over time, but I'll tell you a quick story. I was in the gym. Again, I'm gonna drop a name, and I'll just use his first name. I was in the gym with just this guy, Cody, and I was traveling with him for the day, and we were at the gym, and I don't want to bother him, so he's doing his thing, and I'm doing back. Next thing you know, I get a tap on the shoulder, and I go, "What's up?" He goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm doing back." And he goes, "We have a show tonight." I go, "I know." He goes, "It's an upper body business, brother. It's arm day." And I'm like, "Well, all right." And we banged out arms. So that's why every show day you see me put, it's arm day. That's the reason why. That right there is the reason why.
And even for you, huh? Even as a ref?
Dude, that's all you see is this.
Yeah, this is true.
That and this. Why do you think I tan?
You and Vinny Lax have the biggest biceps on the show. All the shows you're on.
Vinny Lax is a great guy, man. I love that dude.
I remember when he used to ref down here when I first started out, and then he kind of disappeared quick, but he wasn't big. I don't remember him being like that back then.
Yep. Hey, JP, let me know when we're going to end, because I just want to end with one certain thing.
We're good to wrap. Okay.
I just want to say, Limitless Wrestling, I don't think I chimed in there. Randy Carver Jr. has been very good to me. He's a great guy. He's a young kid with a brain on his shoulders, dude. He's doing something up there in Maine. He's got something very, very special up there. Chaotic Wrestling.
Yeah, they were just on True TV. Retro Anthony Green and Ava and Randy were on True TV on 30 Works last night. So yeah, absolutely.
And actually, AG's part of what I want to end with. AG had a lot to do with. He helped me. He pretty much helped me get in this business. After I got my first booking, he got my second booking, and he helps me to this day. Anthony Green is a great kid. Excuse me.
Yes.
He's a great person.
I call him a kid all the time.
It's just because I've known him so long, man. I remember the first time that I saw him ref was down in Bridgewater, Mass. It was at a Beyond Wrestling show. Now you get me fired up again. And I don't know what was going on in the match, but all I heard was, "You and you, get the out of here." And he tossed him, and it was awesome. He's been very helpful. And again, Mike Lombardi's been great to me. Drew Cordero has been awesome to me. Very awesome. I got engaged in his ring, man.
That's cool.
Drew Cordero is going to be in my wedding party.
That's cool.
Yeah, and we haven't talked about the Dirty Daddy. I love Chris Dickinson. He's a badass. He's a crazy son of a gun, but I love him.
Honestly, JP, this is one of those things. Let's just go. Like, there's nothing else that we need to get done. I don't think we need to rush any of this. We're producing this live. I think Ref Quinn, like, if you're willing to, I mean, we let this thing roll because I don't want you to cut short the things. Especially with, and I'm an Anthony Mark, and that's just because before podcasting existed, we were doing live internet radio, and this kid was doing that before any of this stuff. And that's just the passion, the love, the desire, the heart that he has as not just a pro wrestler, but as a fucking human being. This kid is everything. Like I said with Briggs, there's a reason these two are together. There's a reason they are what they are. There's 100. It's just, it is what it is, and those two are. They're not just great pro wrestlers; they're great human beings. They really, really are.
Absolutely. I don't know if you saw any posts on AG and the people asking him, you coming back to wrestling, and I want to say that he said he's coming back when it's safe because his parents are a little bit older, and he doesn't want to take a chance of going out and getting it, bringing it home. So, what does that tell you right there, man?
And the other part of that too is that he's probably figured out a way to make as much money, if not more, during this process than actually being in the ring, knowing him.
You're probably right, man. You're probably right.
I mean,
wait till I come back. I got some ref. This will piss my trainer off. I got some Ref Quinn shirts in production. Those should be out in a couple of weeks. That's all I'm going to say on that. Nobody knows about that. But those are going to come out.
I like it. I just want to, and I'm the 2-bit guy. I'm always the 2-bit guy. I don't think you tooted your horn enough about your ability in the ring. Like, here's the way I look at it: is the less I see of you, the better off the match is going to be. But you can only do that, in my perception, like I talked about earlier, with certain types of referees. You can only do that with certain guys that are capable of selling that portion of, I can move, but I don't need to be the guy swirling around being the other third party in the frickin' ring. No, I don't. That's too busy. That is too busy. All I see is black and white flying around. It causes distraction. It distracts away from the athletes that are in the ring, not saying that they're not, but I agree with you 100% because there are those individuals that I'm like, this would be such an amazing match if he would or she would get out of the ring. And I mean that. I'm not being – I mean, it's – and I'm not – I threw that she in there because it's not – I didn't mean it to sound like I'm pointing fingers, but it could be either sex because I don't – it's – you guys are – it's a three-way dance all the time. It's a three-way dance.
It is, but let me add to that though, right? So I'm the third person in the ring, right? But
Absolutely.
I'm not the third person in the match.
Absolutely. Exactly.
yes.
And that's a huge difference. I think that's, you just said it, just like Anthony said, make it an elevator speech. Shut your mouth and hurry up.
My job is to keep everybody safe. I'll stop a match if I have to, if I think somebody's hurt. I mean, I keep gloves in my pocket all the time. Safety is of the utmost importance. And, wrestling is real, man. Wrestling is real. What I mean by that, it's a live performance. Things happen. People get hurt. So, I have to sometimes get in there and back the guy up, say, man, let me check on him. And sometimes, I have to get a little bit on the physical side, if you will. And the one thing you learn about a referee, and this goes to any other referees out there, don't put your hands on the workers, man. Don't put your hands on them because I'm talking like, if they're in the buckles or something, whatever, a little touch or whatever, but don't try to get physical with them because you're a referee for a reason. You're not the toughest guy in the ring, man.
You're the innocent bystander that's helping. I mean,
but I'll tell you what though, if I have to, I ain't no pride. I'm only kidding.
Do you notice how neither one of we're not even JP and I are both like, you're awesome.
Kevin,
I'm not putting my arm up.
Kevin is like typically one of the biggest guys in the ring, and when something doesn't go sort of the way it's supposed to, I get a message. I wish you were there, brother. I could have used you. Like Kevin,
Dude,
you could
remember,
fuck up more people than I could.
I think I want to say that I don't know if it was you I called when I got hurt up at Wrestling Star Wars when I first started, when I thought I got shot on and my elbow got shattered. Was that you
Possibly.
I called? I think that might have
Possibly.
been you. It might have been Biff Busick actually. I think it was. I think I reached out to somebody, and
I
then
know.
he ended up calling me back.
The last time you did it was a long weekend, like a holiday weekend.
Yep. I'm trying to remember.
Again, I don't like to destroy the fourth wall, so I'll sometimes say things a little different.
Yeah, absolutely,
But,
dude. I got you.
Yeah, so, but no, and there's been a couple, like you just realized, huh?
I did actually, yeah.
The riot, you hit me up, right? Like, dude, I could have used you there.
Yeah.
Or, when
I forget, we have a lot of private conversations too, so I try to keep
and
those.
they stay that way.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we have them.
That's, if someone tries to say you sold them a wrestling belt.
Oh.
I don't think I've ever, like Kevin, you are, out of the people I've met in wrestling, I'd say you and Dave Padula are two of the nicest people, like genuinely nice people I've met in wrestling.
Thank you, man.
I don't think I've ever seen Dave mad. I've seen Dave close to getting into a fight. But I don't think I've ever seen Dave mad. I think that was probably the only time I've actually seen you mad.
Dude, I was ready. I was ready to go after him.
Yeah,
he was insulting my integrity to the first guy that ever helped me out in wrestling.
Right.
Man, he told him straight to his face that I stole it from the club and sold it to him.
Guys, don't be shady. And that wasn't anyone in wrestling. That was a fan. So I don't even know the kid's name, and his name doesn't matter.
I actually talked to him about it after, and I got an apology. So we're cool.
We don't know what's going on in wrestling. We don't know. Do you plan on coming right back? Or do you plan on like AG, like waiting until it's safe?
Well, I don't know the answer to that. I really don't. I feel that, I haven't been tested yet. I work for a cleaning company, commercial cleaning company. And I work with a crew that has been out doing all the COVID disinfections and stuff like that. So I'm actually scheduled to be tested next week.
Oh.
I'm only doing it as a precautionary thing to see if maybe I have antibodies. I was sick in January, so I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But anyway,
I've been around my mother a ton during this.
Yep.
And she's been tested. So, me and my father, ipso facto, she came back negative. We figure we're negative, but because of her, like we've kind of quarantined ourselves because she's older, and I go out once a week now. I go see my godson on Saturdays and hang out with his father, who's my best friend, my brother, and that's all I do. It's a crazy world. I've become closer with guys like Big John Monroe and Matt Almeida actually over the past couple of weeks.
Yep.
And you can imagine what that entails.
I can actually. No, I pretty much, I've been lucky enough to, I've been working every day. My commissions are a little messed up, but my base pay is still there. The bills are paid. There's food on the table. So I got a wonderful fiance, Lisa Lucas, who I'm very lucky to have. She lives with me and we have our home here in Woburn. Very, very lucky. She's a wonderful woman. I love her with all my heart, and I can't wait to get married. I would say I'd get married in a wrestling ring, but we know how that would work. So we'll go a different route on that one.
Rumble did it. Rumble did it. His marriage is still going.
Well, that's because it's Rumble and no one wants to have any problems. So
they
just let him do his thing.
This is true.
But this has been great, man, and we've been on for a while, and I appreciate your time. I know that I shot this on you earlier today. I'm gonna touch on something real quick. I've had a real rough couple of days with everything that's going on in the world. It's very difficult because you have to be careful what you say. So I'm not gonna say anything except for I support the movement, and I'll stand beside you and fight with you. And
it looks like they're finally getting some justice for George Floyd, which is
so.
awesome. I just hope that the rest of the world can do it in peace the way Boston did it last night rather than Sunday night.
Yep. And I don't know if you saw my post, but the city of Woburn did it last night at City Hall. 100% peaceful. Nothing happened. I don't know if you saw my Facebook live feed earlier tonight about 5:30. I happen to have had to go to the bank, hit the ATM, and a bunch of students, I guess, rallied at City Hall, and all as their sign said is "honk if you support George Floyd."
Every car should honk. Like, this is a point where,
matter of fact, I drove around twice.
Unfortunately, there's always going to be racists in this world. I just don't think that that's ever going to be fixed. Ignorance cannot be taught.
Yep. Speaking of that, let me just jump in real quick.
Yeah.
Jack. I probably screw up his last name. Grudolph. He's one of my buddies. I reffed with him a lot. He's awesome. He's a little bit older like me. I love him and I miss him. And also Rich Bass, one of my mentors, my mentor actually. I just didn't want to forget him.
Yeah, no, Rich is one of my mentors. He's taught me a lot. So
he's the best, man. He's the best.
Talk about road buddies. Yeah, traveling, and I did a lot of up and down with him.
Yeah, but and he's another one that when we go to a show, there's no handshake. It's straight to the hug.
Absolutely.
Straight to the hug.
I'm guilty of not going to as many shows as often, so I don't get to see you guys as often. But it's
But the funny thing is if I haven't seen you in a year, JP, and I see you tomorrow, it's like I've never skipped a beat.
So the reason when you hit me up with this today, and you said, "Hey, I want to do an interview," me and you have done this, had that conversation so many times, and I was like, "All right, maybe tomorrow." Then I was like, "Nope, let's do it tonight." What are you doing tonight, Kevin? Because I didn't. We've been trying to put this together for probably years at this point.
Yep. And I appreciate you throwing it together so quick, man. I know it probably wasn't easy.
Listen, we would have had more than we had 7 or 8 live at one point, which is cool. We're still, like I said, we're still new with the live. We'll get about
how many do we have now?
Right now, 3.
Okay.
But we'll get about 10,000 downloads on the audio. Nice. So
next thing you know, Impact Wrestling is going to be messaging.
Yeah, you never know, Kevin.
I know, but you know what? I want to just real quick. Again, I wanted to thank NEW, Mike Lombardi, Chaotic Wrestling, Brian Fury, Limitless Wrestling, Randy Carver Jr., Beyond Wrestling, Drew Cordero. And I have to throw a shout out to Mike Antonucci down at XWA. He helped me out a lot when I got hurt in Ohio, and I got the hospital bill ended up having to be mine. He did one of his Thursday night throwdowns and donated the door to me. I ended up getting $500, and it'd be bad of me not to say thank you. I've said thank you to him before. I ref there for a long time. I was a senior ref. I'll be straight with you. I don't actually like the way that it ended. And maybe I'll pick up a phone and try to fix that. But anyway, this has been great.
Those Thursday night throwdowns, people saying $500. They only charge $5 admission.
Well, that came out of his pocket, man. We all know that. Yeah, and that's how I had to. And he gave me the ring. And I want to say the match was Ace Romero versus JT Dunn. And it was the last match of the night. After I raised their hands, I went to leave the ring, and they both grabbed me and said, "Oh no, oh no!" And the next thing you know, the Phoenix music hit, and he came in and gave me, dude. I broke down and cried. I literally cried. That was the realest moment.
Because I know that I purposely avoided that because I know who helped you.
Yep.
I don't know the whole story on what happened, but I have the idea of what happened. I know who helped you out, and I know that it'd be 2 hours in itself.
It would, and I'll say, I'll give you a couple of hints. Bang, bang. Have a nice day. That guy was very helpful. Very helpful. He followed me on Twitter. He followed me on Twitter so he could direct message me and see if I was okay.
Really?
Yes,
That's pretty damn cool.
it is. And I
I
also
mean,
got
feast your eyes on that. You know,
a Dijak. Did we talk about Dijak shit?
you brought him up. You definitely brought him up as one of your road partners.
Yeah. All I'll just say is Dijak is great. He's done stuff for me, and he'll hold a special place in my heart forever. Yeah. But I want to end, man, by saying thank you. And I'm going to toss something, and nobody knows that I'm going to say this. Okay. I'm 54 years old. I'm going to get all emotional now. I'm in my 9th year of reffing. We all know there's more matches behind me than there are in front of me. I've always wanted to wrestle a match, right?
Okay.
You know who I want to wrestle?
Who?
Brian Fury. But we're going to take it a step further. I'm not a wrestler. So for me to get in a ring with a guy like Brian Fury, that's not going to work.
I mean, at this point, Brian's not a wrestler. Brian's a trainer and a promoter.
Let me tell you something. Brian Fury can throw the trunks on tomorrow and go toe to toe with anybody on the indies right now.
Absolutely. He comes out of retirement once a week.
Wherever it is, this is what I want to say. Wherever it is, wherever my last match that I ref is, he has to be in there. It has to be with him.
Okay.
Yep.
That's one of those things where I bust Brian's balls about, how many matches he's had since his retirement.
Yep.
But he actually hasn't had that many.
Let me throw another thing at you. Screw it. Let's just talk real quick.
Yeah.
I want if I could pick my last match at Chaotic Wrestling, it'd be him against Anthony Green.
There you go.
Oh, wait a minute. Did I say him against Anthony Green? Is that what I said? I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. I meant him and Anthony Green against Chase Del Monte and Josh Briggs.
That would be a match, but I don't know if I would rather that or Brian and Chase versus Anthony and Josh. It'd be kind of old school, new school. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That would be cool. You know what? There's somebody that I haven't brought up, and I apologize. Christian Casanova.
Oh my God!
I don't know if you saw me throw his hat on a little while ago.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he's the top talent. He should be signed. He will get signed eventually. He is awesome. I reffed his first few matches out of school. And the reason that I picked Fury as one of my last matches is because he's my trainer. He's my mentor. He's one of the only guys that can keep my head on straight.
He's one of the best in New England.
He's just a great guy, man.
He is. I love Brian.
And now you got me wanting him and Chase against Briggs and Green.
That right?
I want that. Who Julian, if you're still here, see if you can do that for me, will you?
I think he is because we got 5 or 6 now live. So
all right,
it's this will go right on YouTube too. So it's
okay.
I'll make sure I tag you in all the links. I'll find an embarrassing picture of you for the thumbnail.
Yeah. And if you need anything from all my wrestling companies like northeastwrestling.com, Beyond Wrestling, we're on Twitter, all those social platforms everywhere. All the companies I work for, they all have merchandise. Hit them up. All the wrestlers, support them during these trying times.
Yes.
And David Starr, you ever fucking try to hit me with a chair again? I'll take the chair and wrap it around your neck. But anyway, what? I'm old. I just say shit,
That's it. It's oh man, this has been fun, Kevin. We could honestly go all night.
Oh my God, yeah. My fiance, I think she went to bed.
This will happen again.
Absolutely, anytime, man. I really appreciate it.
Do you want to? I don't think we were on the air earlier when you said what you said about what you want to do next. as far as stuff similar to this? Is that something you want to mention, or no?
Dude, I got a short memory.
Microphone, studio, that type of thing.
Yes, actually, yes. Oh, thank you. I am working on something with Woobin Social Media. It'll be called Wrestling Stars and Stripes. JP, take a guess at who named that. Who do you think helped me with that name?
Stars and Stripes.
AG.
Okay, that kid is a genius at that stuff. So,
all right. Did you watch my video where I proposed? Did you watch the video where everything that I said, he helped me.
He is a genius for that stuff. Coming up like Stars and Stripes. I wouldn't have caught the stripes part of that.
Yep.
That would have gone.
Dude,
over my head.
I got everybody at Beyond Wrestling when I was going to retire. The only problem with that is when I actually leave, no one's going to believe me.
That's true. But none of us want to sit. Like, I hope when you retire, you go back to being a fan. Like, I hope you're still at shows. You know what I mean?
I have a feeling that I'll always be like, one of my favorite interactions with wrestling is the fans at the meet and greets and stuff. It's my favorite thing. One of my favorite things, right? It's a 2-part thing. It's when they wait in the line for 2 hours, right? And then they come up to the line and they figure out they have to pay. They're flabbergasted. And then the guys that have been in line for 2 hours, and then they get up there and they don't have all their stuff ready. Like, get it ready, man. You know?
Right. Yeah,
it's like the podcast is something that can happen anytime that I wanted to. Woobin Media Outlet or Center, I forget exactly the name. They've been very, very helpful, and they're like, anytime you want to do it, just let us know and we'll get it done. But I got to make sure, we got to get the world back to normal before we talk about anything like that. When's wrestling going to come back, dude? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, can these companies run at, the capacity? I don't know.
Right.
And what I get worried about? You know what I get worried about? I get worried about, we go back to these companies and, maybe now it's time for the young guys to come in and the old guys to go out, and I get a little worried about that.
I always told people, and this isn't a shot at Pro Wrestling Tees. I think they provide a great service to some of the guys. But I always told people in the past, like, don't buy your shirts off of Pro Wrestling Tees if you're going to see the guy at the show. Because you buy it off the guy at the show, you get that personal experience. The guy gets an extra buck or two. It helps support them. But now we don't have that option. So if you have a wrestling shirt you want to get, and say you're on unemployment and you're getting that extra $600 a month and you want that shirt, go on and buy it off of Pro Wrestling Tees, because that helps all these guys out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, all these independent wrestlers that are trying to survive during this, show them some love, man. Show AG some love. So I think AG and Briggs both have new shirts out, if I'm not mistaken. They're great.
AG's got a few. Like, he's got the Ninja Turtle shirt that's out now, and which I heard Steve Wine is going at him for some infractions.
I'll take care of Turtle.
No, he's got some cool shit. AG has such a mind, and like Briggs has, like you said, new shirts. They're all pumping stuff out because that's what they have,
Let's just touch real quick too. Those were the first 2 guys on an independent wrestling show that were on the WWE
Network. Yes, the very first match on that Evolve show, which is huge.
Yeah. And no matter what happens to those guys in their wrestling careers, you can't take that away.
Oh, nope. That's in the history books.
Absolutely,
that's literally written down. That Sheldon Goldberg is a writing historian, is writing that down.
Next time we'll talk about NECW and how Sheldon Goldberg really never gave me a shot. We'll leave that right at that.
Can we talk about how he fired me?
Can we talk about how I delivered his tag team title belts to a restaurant while he was having dinner with his girlfriend, and he sat down and told me that I wasn't ready yet when I was already in main events for bigger companies than his. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say anything bad about Sheldon Goldberg. He's a historian. But when NECW split off and I ended up working for that other company, PWF, it just was never the same. And that bums me out, man, because all bullshitting aside, is when I first got into wrestling, that was the one place that I wanted to work, man. I wanted to go to the Quincy Armory, and I wanted to ref there. I really did.
I have zero heat in wrestling because there's no reason to. But Sheldon was the person that brought me in. Like, he was when we started doing this podcast in 04, 05, I emailed him because I had seen the old NWA New England on TV. This is going to be real quick. I went to that website. It rerouted me to his. Emailed him. He comes on, says, "Oh, you're the Irish Whip. I got something perfect for you. I got this guy coming in from Ireland, Fergal DeVitt. So I'll go on first and then have Fergal after."
Nice.
That was our first ever episode, and it sucked because Fergal at the time was really new. He hadn't been over to the dojo yet. He hadn't been over to Japan. He was just coming from Ireland for the first time.
Oh, wow.
So he wasn't a great talker yet. Sheldon could talk. So Sheldon, the first half of the show went flawless. Me and my buddy Joe said, "Hi, Sheldon." And he went on for a half an hour.
Oh, he's a historian, man. He's a historian.
He knows everything. But then,
I don't want to talk bad about him. It bums me out that I never got a real shot there,
Yeah. I know that was your goal.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I have a lot of good memories there. Max Bauer, goals. Man. Max Bauer was so nice to my son, man. I'll never forget how nice he was to my kid.
Max was a great.
They all were. They all were, man. Hey, how about what was it? The natural Scott Osborne that I used to pose down. I don't care what he says. I won every time, and he wasn't natural. No, I'm just kidding. He was. He's not someone I want to mess with either.
He stopped at the gas station every night before the show.
Yeah, you know what though? He was a performer, man. I don't know why he ever left because that dude had a lot of freaking talent.
Yeah. There was a few guys in New England that were so underrated, and he was absolutely one of them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So then we could go through those forever. When you do your podcast, I want to come on.
If you come on, we consider it done. I want to just say, dude, like, thank you. And let's just get a little serious for a second. The world's in a crazy place right now. The only thing that I can say is we're all stronger together. I don't care about anything else. Not that I don't care. It's I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how I can help. If you want me to help, get in my inbox. Tell me how to help. You want me to go somewhere and stand beside you? I have no problem with that. Because the only way we can fix things is if we do it together. And as far as pro wrestling, I love it. And this is a little sizzler out there. Big Bacon, I miss you. You're a good dude. I've been in the ring a lot with you. I miss a lot of these guys, man. Like TK Orion. Oh shit.
Yeah.
We could sit here all night, man. I've been a blessed referee. I really have. And if for some reason I don't get to come back for whatever reason it is, I'm a happy guy.
You're coming
back.
Happy guy.
I'm just saying, if for some reason I don't, but I will definitely be back, man. You kidding me? Come on, man.
I have to be at your retirement match. Just for myself.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say. I will never retire from professional wrestling. I was told by a big guy, Donovan Dijak, you can only retire from somewhere if you've made enough money to live comfortably for the rest of your life. So I will be leaving professional wrestling.
Well, yes. And I always make a joke that a lot of people don't retire. They just stop getting booked. Kevin Quinn will never stop getting booked.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Dude, you and your partner there, thank you very, very much. I needed this to get a little positivity back because the last few days, and I'll just say real quick, Lisa Lucas, thank you for your support the last couple of days. I know I haven't been easy to be around, and I love you with all my heart. And I'm gonna go watch some TV wrestling, and I'm watching Bryce Remsburg right now hold up the TNT title, and I could easily hold that up as well.
You
Cody
absolutely could.
Rhodes, yeah.
You
It's
and Bryce
Cody
would
Rhodes
be.
versus Jungle Boy.
You and Bryce would
Co-
be a great reffing team somewhere.
Bryce is a great dude, man. He earned that
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. I was actually in that match where I was actually the way he wrestled the Invisible Man.
Oh, really? Okay.
Excuse me. Where he wrapped the Invisible
The
match.
Invisible Man, yes.
It was
Yep.
incredible, man. I caught the guy off of the balcony and everything. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Oh, jeez. That was he heavy?
I got bumped bad, man. I ended up on, want to hear the funny thing, right? We're in this bar that is just soaked with beer on the floor. Now, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I grabbed 3 fans behind me, and I said, dude, I ain't hitting this floor and getting all this booze over me, so I'm falling back on you guys. Hope you're okay with it. I fell back on about 5 or 6 of them, and they protected me, and I never hit the floor.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep, that was great. That was actually a Joey Janela spring break show. I did Joey Janela's first match back from an injury with Marco Stunt.
Oh, I love Marco Stunt.
And there was a spot. There was a spot on the apron that went a little wrong, and that was a good match, man. I was happy to be there. Joey Janela has been very good to me too. Oh, I dropped something. Sorry.
That's Joey's a name, but he's not a huge name yet. So
he's a great dude, and I'm happy to see him where he is, man. You know.
Yes.
But dude, I appreciate it. I really do. Your partner's Tom, right?
No, Josh.
Josh, I'm sorry. I'm terrible at names.
That's all right.
Josh, thank you very much for letting me be on here. JP, thank you.
Yeah.
And again, thank you to everybody in pro wrestling. Thank you to all the fans that support me and come to the shows and say hi. Thank you very much.
Guys, that's it. We're out.
Have a nice day.
That's